welcome to Energy Top Up, your weekly energy boost for the week ahead. We do hope life has been kind to you, but we also appreciate that sometimes it's not very easy to look on the bright side, especially if you don't know how, and that's why we're here. We are giving you simple techniques to boost your inner confidence and build that resilience to keep you going no matter what. I'm chartered psychologist Dr Audrey Tang, and with me as always is the lovely award-winning parent and family coach Sharon Lawton.
Hi everybody, and each week we bring you lots of exercises and tips and strategies for you to be able to boost your inner strength and build resilience through the tough times, but also we can use that during the good times too. So if you're having a challenge, the tips and things that we share with you, we want you to try out. So we've got a challenge for you this week. If you are able to send us a picture or a video of any of the tips or strategies that we show on this show or previous shows, and just sort of share with us how you use them, then you're in for the possibility of winning one of either my resource packs or Dr. Audrey's books. And also, even better news is if you adapt any of the strategies and show us how you adapt them so that they work better for you, then again, we'll pick the best adaptation, and again, you'll either win one of my resource packs or one of Dr. Audrey's books. Now that's fantastic news, and we can't wait to see and hear how you've been using our strategies in your own lives. Now the competition ends on Friday, the 24th of April at 5 p.m. So in the comments below, you'll see how to join in that competition. But for now, I'm going to pass back to Audrey.
Thanks, Sharon. I'm really looking forward to seeing the entries, so really go for it. And today we wanted to look at healthy ways of expressing emotion or frustration or anger, because lockdown is getting a little bit stressful. And so to start with, our warm-up covers 4 simple techniques that you can use to press pause and deal with it before you can come back with a clearer head and actually work through what's been going on. And all you need to do is remember one very simple acronym, and that is TIPP. And T, that stands for temperature. When we get really frustrated, if you're like me, I get really hot, and so sometimes I either have to open a window or maybe walk outside. I actually carry a fan around in my Keep Calm kit, and I bring that out and use that whenever I need to. So that's temperature, change the temperature. I, change the intensity. So this may be running on the spot if you have to, or perhaps stopping and maybe splashing cold water on your face just to stop for that minute. So change the intensity, and that can suddenly jolt our minds into thinking something different, because when we're stressed and frustrated, we get to this spiral of automatic thoughts that we need to break out of. P, one of the P's, stands for paired muscle relaxation. So all you need to do is go through the pairs of muscles. So tensing and relaxing your eyes, squeezing and relaxing, squeezing and relaxing. Maybe your shoulders, maybe your hands and fingers, might be your knees, it might be your ankles and toes, but paired muscle relaxation. And then P, the last P, stands for paced breathing. And if you remember in our first episode, Sharon showed you a beautiful breathing ball where you just breathe in and then hold and breathe out. And it may also help, if you can't picture the ball, just look at the seconds on the clock going round and counting those, or perhaps counting the paving stones on the ground. You can use any or all or combinations of those 4 different techniques, and they are really quick and easy ways just to press pause and be able to come back refreshed. And so now Sharon is going to teach you a wonderful technique to manage frustration in the moment, so we don't explode and possibly make things worse. So back to you, Sharon.
Thanks, Audrey. So when we get big angry feelings, when we get feelings of frustration, those sort of big, what I would call monster feelings, we need to make sure that we keep our thinkers in charge rather than our feelers. So if you were looking at a science book, what that would mean is we need to keep that neocortex, the front part of our brain, in charge rather than the limbic system, which controls all of our emotions. But I like to look at it as the thinkers and the feelers. Now, I always know if my feelers are starting to take over because I get a funny sensation in my body. It might be like a popping sensation, or sometimes my muscles start to tense up. And that is where the strategy starts. Now, when you get those big feelings and you start to feel your body reacting, that's your red light that tells you to stop. So we need to start thinking traffic lights. Now, as you know, if the traffic light is red, we need to stop, because if we go through the traffic light, we'll hurt ourselves, we'll hurt somebody else, or we'll get into trouble. So when we get those feelings in our body that come along with those big monster feelings of frustration or anger, we need to listen to our body, because that's our red light telling us to stop. So we have to recognize that the first thing is to stop and think the red light. And then we take a calming breath. Now it can help just to put your hand on your tummy and take a nice deep breath in and then a deep breath out. And then saying to yourself at that time, stay calm, stay calm. Now we know the next colour on traffic lights is amber. So what we then need to do is a little strategy connected to this, which is what I call name it to tame it. Now in name it to tame it, we say how we feel. So the next step is to think amber and say how we feel. So I'm feeling angry right now. I'm feeling a bit prickly right now. I'm feeling really frustrated or really annoyed at the moment. And then we follow that up with, and I need to take some time to calm down. And so we might walk away, we might have a safe place that we go to that helps us to feel calm. And we take that time away, time to calm down and do a calming activity. Now, some of us, it might be reading or drawing or listening to some nice music or some meditation music, or just doing some more calming breaths. For others of us, it might be that we need to do some energetic exercise to move our bodies, because sometimes when we get those feelings in our bodies, we need to move to release that energy. And then we do that calming activity, whatever it might be, until we feel calm. And that's then the green light to say that we can go. So remember, when we get those big angry feelings, remember traffic lights. We feel the feeling in our body, that's our red light telling us to stop. We then take a calming breath. We tell ourselves to be calm. We name it to tame it. I feel angry right now, or I'm feeling prickly right now. I need some time to calm. We walk away and do something until we're feeling calm enough to go, and that's our green light. And then we might then engage in a conversation that we were going to have. But if we stop at that stage, we don't then do something that might hurt somebody else, or we might say something we might regret. So try that out and let us know. It can be helpful sometimes maybe to even put some traffic light colours up as well, but certainly have a think about those colours, have a go and let us know how you get on. What do you think, Audrey?
So important. Two things in particular have really resonated with me. And the first is recognizing those feelings before they get any bigger. And that's incredibly important. And the second one is labeling them. It is acceptable to have emotions, even the negative ones. And it is absolutely fair to say, I'm feeling angry or prickly. I love that expression. I feel prickly quite a lot sometimes when I get stressed. So absolutely recognize, label, and then deal with them. And it's perfectly okay if you're not brilliant at dealing with it straight away. It all takes practice, and we're all a work in progress. And going on from where Sharon is talking about, when it comes to being able to manage our emotions, it is important, say if you are then having to go into a meeting or do something to sort things out, is to be able to remain calm, to keep that green light on. And this is a two-part technique which develops what Sharon's saying if you need to then take it into sorting out the situation. We always know when we're angry, we do want to sort something out, but when we're angry, a lot of the time our frustrations make us think of our own point of view only. So I'd like you to think about working those frustrations out like a house. Think about the foundations of the situation, but the foundations are simply the facts of the situation. That's it. Not our opinions, just the facts of what's happened. Be aware of those facts. Even though we might be thinking he said, she said, just think about the facts. Then you build the rest of that house. By building, what I mean is, have an idea of what you want that outcome to be, what you want that house to look like. Now, of course, when you're sorting anything out, negotiating anything, you may not actually end up with exactly the goal you're looking for, but being aware of it, being aware of that build and what it's going to look like means you do actually have a plan you're aiming for. And then write down that plan and bring that agenda into the meeting with you or into the situation with you, so that when you get emotional, you don't get drawn off course. You know what you're looking for. And then finally, it's important to live that solution and really think about how you're adapting, negotiating, and being flexible. And those are real positives as well. So facts, then know what your goal is, and then work on getting to that goal with somebody else. And that's how you can develop all of those calming techniques into taking it into sorting things out. Now, last week we were asked about nightmares and about how to manage some very challenging feelings. And Sharon has a great exercise about feeling safe. And this is so important, not just for children, but for all of us. So over to you, Sharon.
Thanks, Audrey. So again, when we get big feelings, and again, I like to call these big feelings sometimes monster feelings because they can feel really overpowering. There is always something that we can do. Now, have you ever noticed that if you're feeling worried or scared about something, because we've woken up maybe from a bad dream or we've had a frightening thought, that's actually what's happening? We have a thought in our head and we start thinking about that particular thing. Now, I like to call those thoughts in that particular moment bully thoughts, because just like bullies, they want us to feel scared. Just like bullies, they tell us lies about things that are actually not actually going to happen. So if you can imagine that thought as a little, maybe funny little creature sitting on your shoulder, whispering in your ear, just like a bully. It's telling you lies. So the first thing we need to do if we're feeling worried or we're feeling scared is to recognize that thought. Imagine it as if it was just a little creature sitting on our shoulder and we're going to flick it off. So come on, let's do that right now. Imagine you've got a bully thought sitting on your shoulder, whispering in your ear, telling you the reason why you should be scared or what's going to happen. And all we're going to do is we're going to turn to our worry thought and flick it off our shoulder, and at the same time say, you lie, I don't believe you. So let's do it together. You lie, I don't believe you. Let's flick it off our shoulder. We're going to watch it tumble to the ground, then we're going to stamp on it and squidge it. So that's the first thing that we're going to do, is to get rid of those bully thoughts. The next thing we're going to do is to think about the things that help us to feel safe. Now, I like to use something called the feeling safe sun. So all you need to do is to draw, first of all, the outline of the sun. And then on the rays of the sun, I want you to start thinking about all of the things that cause you to feel safe and warm and fuzzy inside. So what colours give you a warm and safe feeling? Write them down on the ray of the sun. What activities help you to feel safe? Write them down on another ray of the sun. What tastes give you a safe, warm, fuzzy feeling? Write that down. What smells? What places? What objects? And so you fill up all the rays of the sun with different things that cause you to feel safe. And then when you're feeling scared or you're feeling worried and you've flicked that bully thought off your shoulder and told it that it lies and that we're not going to believe it anymore, we're going to focus in on our feeling safe sun and start thinking about all of the things that help us to feel warm and safe. Now, what you might then decide to do is to create a box full of these ideas as well. Anyway, give that a try. I'd love to hear how you get on, and it's certainly one that helps me out when I'm feeling a little bit worried too. Back to you, Audrey.
Thanks, Sharon. That helps me out as well. And what I do is, with all of those thoughts that I put in the sun, I also hold on to what I call an anchoring object. And for me, it's my wedding ring. And I just sort of think of those thoughts and hold on to that object. And I know whenever I can feel those emotions and those stressors, I just hold that anchoring object, and somehow those feelings calm down and disappear. So it's such a powerful exercise. So thank you so much for sharing that. And moving from your wellness box as well from last week, and you mentioned it again, Kirsty's Homeschool has been having a look at the wellness kit. And Kirsty has two little assistants this week. She's got Rosie and Edward with their wellness boxes, and let's see how they get on. Over to you, Kirsty.
Hello, Audrey. So last week there was a lovely demonstration about a mindful box. I've decided to call them a keep calm box. This is something that I've used before, the keep calm quotation with both Rosie and Edward. So what we've done is we've made our own type of box. This one here is Edward's, and Rosie, would you like to hold yours up?
Yeah.
So they've both got one each. Inside are things that are very, very similar. So I have a sheet inside. This one I got from Twinkle, and it's about using your teddy bear. Both Rosie and Edward have particular teddies that they are very attached to and very fond of. And this is something that we can go down, we can go through together. So it asks you to lie down on your back and relax, make sure you're comfortable and have enough room. Concentrate on your breathing in and out, noticing the flow and rhythm. Place your teddy or soft toy on your tummy. Now concentrate to focus on your breathing whilst watching your teddy move on your tummy. So these are all things that were mentioned in last week's video. And these are little techniques that, when they are feeling particularly upset or cross or angry, that we can go through together, nice and slowly bringing them down. There's also, for the days where, they just want to be on their own, a separate activity. So Edward particularly likes Dr. Dots. So I got him a selection of Dr. Dots to do, that he can do on his own. He doesn't need me there. He can follow the dots, calm down, bring himself down. Rosie, on the other hand, likes something a bit different. Rosie really enjoys colouring in. So I've got her some colouring in sheets, and they both have access to pencils and things like that all the time. So I've not put them in the box because I know that they can get them anyway. So we've got those two activities which are done on paper, and then they've got an additional little something. Eddie, would you like to show? So in our Easter trail that we did, we had some of these hiding inside the eggs. These are the squishies that you can pick up really nice and easily. And the Easter Bunny left them for you, didn't he, in his Easter trail? So inside each egg was a squishy hiding from the Easter Bunny. And we decided this would be a really good thing to keep in our Keep Calm boxes. So when it's that immediate feeling of stress or anxiety or just getting cross, they can run to their box, they can sit down and gently squish, and these ones are scented. Smell them, and help themselves to slowly come down before I then intervene and do a breathing exercise with them. So there's Rosie and Edward. Now for the last couple of months I didn't realise, but I actually have my own Keep Calm box, and it wasn't until I actually watched the video last week and saw the tips and tricks that I thought, oh, actually I do this too. So I actually have my own one. My mum has got me into the 5D diamond painting. So this is what I'm currently working on right now. And inside here, I've got all the bits for my artwork. And I tend to come and do this whenever I've had enough. I'm feeling as though I myself am a bit anxious, or I just need 5 minutes. And I actually just come and I pick up my basket and I just go and sit in the garden with the children. And this is my Keep Calm box. I've got all my bits and pieces. These are all my beads. I've actually got the piece I'm working on. And then as an additional, I actually carry around one of these. This is my own large squishy. And I'm quite a tactile person. So having something like this that I can squeeze and it really slowly releases is really helpful. So without knowing it, actually, as an adult, I've got my own one. And we thought this was a really good activity, and this is something, you know, that is going to help Rosie and Edward, and it helps me too. So we think this is a really good idea, don't we? And we're going to start using our boxes. Yeah! Awesome.
We took our different ones out.
Yeah, you've got lots of different ones, haven't you, hiding around the house, so maybe you can put them all in your box.
And I don't know why do I have a piece of toast.
They're all different, aren't they? They're all random.
And look.
So thank you, and we hope that you had fun making your boxes. It'd be really fun to see any boxes that you've made, and grown-ups, it'd be nice to see yours too. So we will see you again. Bye, back to the studio. Bye.
Thanks so much, Kirsty. And don't forget, it is competition week, exactly as Sharon says. So if you have tried out any of our activities or the ones on our YouTube page, please do send us a picture or a video, and you could be winning one of Sharon's resource packs or one of my books. And then if you've adapted it, even better, that's amazing. Same thing, you will get either one of Sharon's resource packs or our book when we judge the winners. It must come in by next Friday, and we will announce them on next Sunday's show. Now, this is a really important cool down that Sharon's going to take us through, because sometimes, as much as we'd love to try and keep calm, to try not to explode, it can happen. And sometimes for me, just saying sorry isn't quite enough. So Sharon's cool down is going to take us through a great way to rebuild any of those relationships that might have been damaged or fractured by the explosion, that go beyond that simple saying sorry. Back to you, Sharon.
Thanks, Audrey. So remember, when we're feeling angry, when we're feeling any of those big feelings, if we let those feelers take over and don't keep those thinkers in charge, then that's when we can often do or say something that actually can hurt somebody else, or we can say something actually that we don't really mean. And when everything's all calmed down and then we say sorry, actually the person still feels really hurt. And so sometimes words are not quite enough. But you know what? Sometimes people want us to say sorry. And we want to say sorry too, but the words sometimes just won't come. I can remember when I was a little girl, and sometimes my mum used to want me to say sorry either to my sister or to her, because the big monster feeling of anger had taken over, and I wanted to say sorry, but I couldn't quite say the words. Maybe that happens to you too. Now, regardless of whether you've said sorry or you want to say sorry and can't, this next strategy will work. So sometimes words aren't quite enough, so we have to do an action. And so have a think about what it is that you can do for someone to show them how much you love and care about them, and actually how much you are really sorry for what's happened. So it might be that you do a kind act for that person. Maybe you tidy up your bedroom. Or maybe if you're a little bit older, you'll make somebody a cup of tea or their favourite dinner. Maybe you might pick them some flowers from the garden. Or maybe you might write them a sorry note. And that's something that I used to do a lot. So I used to get out my pens and paper, and I used to write the person that I had hurt a note as to all the reasons why I loved them and the reasons why I was sorry. So try out it. You could think about other things that you could do, but it's about thinking about doing a kind deed for someone, whether it's writing them something or doing them something, or even drawing them a picture and telling them how much you love them. So give that a try. Lots and lots of ideas. And as Audrey said, we always love to hear how you're getting on, and we absolutely love reading your feedback. Back to you, Audrey.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Really important actions that we can take there. And all of these are simple little tips. Try them out, and if they work for you, great. If not, try something else and just keep that as a little mental post-it note that you pin there, and you might be able to revisit in future. Now, that's all we've got time for this week. So before Sharon and I say goodbye, I will hand you over to Mandy Marriott of the Dustin Parish for her thought for the week. And from Sharon and myself, bye for now.
Bye.
Hello. There are times when we feel that we have lost the fizz in our bottle. We feel flat and lacking in energy and motivation. But I believe there are ways that we can put life back where it has been sucked dry. So let me give you a visual illustration. If we look at this map, we can see the two lakes found in Israel. To the north is Lake Galilee, and to the south is the Dead Sea. Now, Lake Galilee is served by a river to the north, and from Lake Galilee flows the River Jordan, which in turn flows into the Dead Sea. When Jesus lived in this region, the area around Lake Galilee was thriving. The lake was teeming with wildlife, and the fisheries around the lake were famous throughout the Roman Empire. But if we look south to the Dead Sea, unlike Lake Galilee, this body of water supports no fish and no wildlife. Indeed, 25% of the water here is made up of salt or other chemicals, which make sustaining life impossible. So why does one sea thrive, but the other does not? The answer lies in the fact that there is no outlet for the Dead Sea to let water escape from its basin. The only way is by evaporation, resulting in the huge concentration of salts in the Dead Sea. So the Dead Sea is in effect in receive mode only. But in contrast, the Sea of Galilee is fed from the north and in turn feeds the Jordan River to the south. Water comes in and water goes out. It is, in effect, living water. Well, I'd like us to think about this picture of the two lakes in relation to ourselves. Are we like the Sea of Galilee, where we are filled with living water and, like the lake, allowing that water to flow from us to others? Or are we sometimes like the Dead Sea, just absorbing life and all that it brings, but not giving out, not sharing life? We might need to remember that water which is not flowing becomes stagnant over time, and stagnant water is not healthy or vibrant. Now, there are times when I think we all feel like this. But if we can create an outlet for that still water through some of the ways we have already highlighted, like prayer or journaling or art, then we can make way for fresh water to come in, new blessings to come and revive us. So to help us to understand more, let's look at a reading from the Bible, from the Old Testament, from the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verses 24 and 25. There is one who is free in giving, and yet he grows richer. And there is one who keeps what he should give, but he ends up needing more. The man who gives much will have much, and he who helps others will be helped himself. So in order to keep that flow of energy within us, that flow of living water, we need to be aware of the good things that come our way. We need to, as the saying goes, count our blessings one by one, and then see how we can pass blessings on to others. Water coming in and water going out. So I hope you have a refreshing week and see you again soon. Bye for now.